Hey guys, so today I want to talk about being friends with your ex. I got an email about this, and I've also talked about this with my friends. I've gone through this in my own personal life, and I really wanted to hear any comments or stories that you guys may want to share, because it's always really cool when I make these videos. I get so many different point of views from different people sharing their own, experiences, what worked for them, what didn't. So feel free to do that below in the comments if you would like to. I'm sure many people would like to hear it, and it's really helpful to other girls as well. So the first part of this, I'm just going to be very blunt and very to the point. And if you are going through this scenario, I know that it can be really difficult to kind of navigate it and figure out what's right and what's wrong. So I'm just going to kind of set up a little bit of a scenario for you. Let's say you had a boyfriend, you guys ended up breaking up, and now the question is posed, we can still be friends, or can we still be friends? And to kind of dig a little bit deeper into that idea and figure out why people that, shared a lot of their lives together, maybe you grew up together, maybe you, grew into the people that you are now together, you probably went through some really great times, some really hard times, you might have even shared some intimate moments. All those things kind of combined which make up a relationship. It is really interesting to think about someone that you can be very, very close to emotionally, that then once that relationship ends, a lot of times people never speak again. You break up and that's it. And I do think, on a larger note, when you do break up with someone, especially if it was, a long-term relationship and something where there are a lot of feelings invested, I do think that when you break up, it's hard to immediately be friends afterwards. I personally think the let's still be friends line is a little bit of, excuse my language, but bullshit, honestly. I think people sometimes do that to soften the blow, although I do agree that sometimes you actually could think that you're more suited as a friend with this person and you don't want to lose them in your life. Totally get that, but I think immediately after a breakup, it's really hard to just be friends, especially if the breakup is not mutual. And let's just go out on a limb here and say 90% of the time, I think one person in a breakup would prefer that it wasn't actually happening. Yes, there are those magical scenarios where two people just outgrow each other, they're mature about it, they realize it together, and there's really no hard feelings there, but that doesn't happen that often. A lot of times there is still one person that, if it could be different and if they could still be together, that person would choose that option. So immediately after a breakup, I think personally you have to go no contact. And the amount of time that you do this really depends on yourself, first of all. It depends on how hard you're taking that breakup. And I think it also depends on, what that relationship was. I don't think there's necessarily, if you were together for a year, don't talk for 2 months, I don't think you can really do that, because honestly, I think the relationships that you have with people, the depth that is there has nothing to do with time. Honestly, I think you can be with someone for a year and have a less developed, less emotional connection with someone than if someone you're with for maybe 3 months. And it just really depends on how much you guys connected, what you went through, what you worked through, and just overall your relationship as a whole. So, unfortunately, I suppose every situation is different, but I still think kind of universally after a breakup, you have to have that space and that distance. I know I've had a lot of girls ask me, I broke up with my boyfriend, I still want to be with him, he still is talking to me, texting me, asking me to hang out, even maybe it's gone as far as you still hook up with them regularly. That stuff is all just going to prolong your hurt, honestly. And I don't want you to feel bad if you're in that scenario or you're allowing that to happen, because the only way that you can know that that's wrong is to go through it and to realize it and learn from it. So any knowledge that I have has only been gained from my experiences. So I definitely know that when you break up with someone, if they don't want to be with you, you have to, listen to that, digest that. While that information may be hurtful, it's way more hurtful, I think, to continue on in a relationship, wasting your time, missing out on other people that could be more suited for you, opposed to someone just being upfront with you. For me, honesty is the biggest thing, and I think if someone's going to come to you telling you that they don't think you guys should be together anymore, you have to at least respect that they did that. There are many other ways they could have gone about it that are a lot less admirable, and I think for someone to tell you that they don't want a relationship is something that, to process it, takes a little bit of time, and the best way to do that is to focus on yourself and also just not have contact with that ex. I am curious to hear from you guys if you are friends with any of your exes. I will say, I think it is slightly tragic just in, kind of the human interaction and connection that someone that you're in a relationship with is someone very close to you. Of course, you're close with your family and your friends, but someone that you have a romantic partnership with, that's probably the next closest thing that you can have to family, especially because this is a person that you're choosing and you're deciding to be with and making that choice. And I think it is very sad that it's a lot of times difficult to remain friends with people like that. Now, I do think there are different types of love in relationships. I think that you can fall out of love with someone, unfortunately, and I think that you can love someone as a friend, you can care about them, want good things for them, but you cannot be in love with them at the moment. And my kind of general rule of thumb is I think you can be friends with your ex if you care for them and love them, but you are not still in love with them. And that's kind of a very hard line to draw because a lot of people, I think, don't want to admit it, but they probably are deep down still in love with an ex. And I think putting yourself through a friendship when you feel like that is honestly torture. It's just going to be so difficult for you to, go through the motions of being their friends and also having those boundaries. I know that unfortunately a lot of people get into situations where they've broken up and then they remain in contact, they keep hanging out, maybe hooking up, whatever it may be, and it almost becomes a relationship where the other person is getting all the benefits of a relationship without any of the sacrifice, the commitment, the compromise, and really without any of the responsibility. Because if you're doing that and you think, by doing this and just still staying in their life and staying connected with them, you're hoping that this person is going to realize that they want to be with you, realize that they were wrong for not being with you, and magically it's going to work out. 9 times out of 10, that's not really the case, because I think someone that makes a decision that they don't want to be with you, but then is open to being with you on a looser term, I can't imagine that's ever actually going to work out very well, because like I said, they are getting all the benefits of a relationship, of having you in their life, having you be there, loving them, supporting them, and just ultimately enriching their life without them having to do any of the work for you. And at the end of the day, if you get hurt and they do something bad, they can always pull the, well, I told you we weren't in a relationship anymore card. And I don't know, I've seen that happen to so many girls that I'm friends with and people that I truly care about and respect, and I just want to grab them and tell them girl, that's never going to work, because it just can't. It really honestly can't. And it may be kind of hard to hear this and understand it and really accept it. And if you're not there yet, I totally understand, but my biggest advice and my opinions on being friends with an ex is it's messy and it's hard to do. And I think that's really sad, and it's difficult, to lose someone in your life like that, to lose someone from a relationship to then someone that you don't talk to and that you don't see. And I understand that, and I feel like it's the same as mourning a loss of someone, because the way that you two were is over, and that's not going to be the same. I'm going to just address it because I'm sure I'll have questions speaking on this topic. Like I said, this was brought up by an email that I received, and also just from people in my real life that have gone through this scenario. Me personally, am I friends with any of my ex-boyfriends? I think my long-term relationships that you guys are probably aware of, I am not friends with them. And number one, I think it's because it's hard to be friends with people that betray you and are deceitful and that hurt you in some way. I think if your relationship does end on a mutual, kind of happy note, I think it could be possible. That hasn't been my personal experience, so I can't really speak from that. But I do know with people that I've dated and stuff, remaining to be friends, it can be difficult if you both don't feel the same way. And I think normally in the ending of a relationship, one person is choosing that, and so someone always is kind of on the other end of that. And I just think a lot of times it's better to kind of leave that where it is. And I think the whole let's just be friends card really just confuses people. And I think selfishly, people that say that in a relationship are someone that doesn't feel very good about having the guilt of breaking up with you. I think they want to kind of throw in that card to soften the blow and make you think that, you guys can still be connected and stuff, which I'm really in a weird scenario on how I feel about that, because I understand that someone that you really connect with, why shouldn't you be able to be friends? But at the same time, someone that doesn't want to be with you, it's hard for you to continue to be just a friend. So, like I said, there's not really a huge, answer to this question, because it could go so many different ways. But I wanted to open up the discussion and hear from you guys in the comments below your personal experiences with this. Are you friends with any of your exes? Are you truly friends, or are you hoping that maybe it will turn into a relationship again? I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions, and I'll see y'all later. Bye!